My guest today is another Hall of Fame brother, the ball hog, synonymous with the U, synonymous with Baltimore and the Ravens, synonymous with explosive plays on defense, block kicks, interceptions for touchdowns, fumble recoveries, hard hits. You get the point. It's Ed Reed in the house. Ed, thanks for joining Great Day Nation, brother.
Oh, man, great to be on with you, brother. How you doing?
Fellow Louisiana guy from Destrehan High School.
Yeah.
And when I was doing my research, Ed, on you, I saw that you and I got a few things in common besides Louisiana. You were a long jumper in high school, and I think at the U maybe too.
Yep.
So was I. I jumped 20 feet, 11 inches. You got me, man. 24 feet?
Man, I didn't know that, man. If that's what it say, Morten,
20. You jumped 24 feet.
Man, back in the day.
You know what? I think that playing different sports, at least for me, I played track and field. I was a gymnast. And then, of course, I kicked. I think that cross training, that, doing different sports helps you as a ball player, as a football player. Do you agree with that?
I highly agree with that. I work with a lot of kids, and especially like the last few years, man, I noticed that coaches are telling kids and parents are just letting their kids play one sport. They're doing it like year round, and I'm not a big fan of that. Like when I recruit kids, I ask them, do they play other sports? Just because I know that you'll learn something different from playing a whole nother sport. So yeah, man, I didn't know that about you, Mort. That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
and also when you do different, like gymnastics, for me, I had the core and the flexibility that really helped me in kicking. And I would say like jumping, and you did the javelin too.
Yeah.
The explosiveness and the different muscle groups and the muscle memory that you use in different sports. As a defensive back, and I know a little bit about it, but you're spending a lot of time running backwards and pivoting.
Yeah.
Backwards, pivoting, and then forward, changing directions, right?
Yeah.
Coming to balance. You know what I'm seeing now? I'm just seeing guys poor tackling.
Oh yeah, it's different. The techniques.
Yeah. What?
Properly.
It looks like guys are overrunning plays. They're not coming to balance. There's no head across the bow. There's no same arm, same leg. 1 steps and wrap, 2 steps and squeeze.
Yeah.
The fundamentals.
The lost art.
Why is that, Ed?
I don't know, man. I mean, it could be a lot of factors. For one, you got to want to do it. You got to want to do it on defense. I think it's being allowed too. Coaches are not coaching that. I found that when I started working, that was something that had to be implemented, how to tackle. Like you can do drills, you can do tackling drills, but, dummies don't make cuts and, keep their feet running. You know what I'm saying? So there's certain things you have to do at practice, continuously doing it to get the repetition in your head. And in your body. But guys got to want to do it, You got to want to do it, man. But like you said, I'm a huge fan of playing multiple sports because, it just teaches you so many different things. Playing basketball, playing baseball, running track, playing soccer. Those things, it just teaches you something totally different about yourself and, teammates, everything.
Yeah, you say you work with the young guys. What would you share with me and our listeners? Top 3 things you got to do, man, as a defensive back? Because you were a ball hog and you ran them back. It wasn't like you were going to take a knee. You had 107, 108-yard interception returns. What made you want to take that thing out instead of just taking a knee? Obviously, a police to go all the way.
You said something. That most people didn't know. I grew up in Louisiana. I grew up watching the Saints. I grew up watching you.
Yeah.
We didn't have much offense then.
Right.
So
you're right about that.
I went to Baltimore and we didn't have any offense, man. So it was already in me prior to that. that I just wanted to be, kind of have that killer instinct, sort of say, like the Michael Jordans of the world. I grew up watching Mike, and when the game was on the line, he was scoring. Football was a little different, but, I grew up playing it like that. You know what I'm saying? When it was tie games, I wanted the ball. When the game was on the line, I was playing defense. I wanted the ball. I wanted to stop them from making plays. So that was something that came with repetition over time. Once I got to the league, man, it was like second nature. It was something I always did. People thought it was just something that was happening in the NFL. If you check back in high school, in college, that's what I was trying to do that. I was already trying to score with the ball because we didn't have much offense.
That's interesting. We field goal. Hey, Ed, we field goal guys to death.
Yeah.
We had the dome patrol with Ricky Jackson, with City
Sam
Champ,
Mills, boys,
Sam Mills, Vaughn Johnson, Pat Swilling, and then we ran the ball a little bit. We didn't turn it over, and we three-pointed people to death.
Yeah, man. That's how you
and with and with Justin Tucker as your kicker, that's what you guys did.
Yeah, that's what we should be doing. That's what we should.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Ravens right now, man. A lot of injuries, obviously. Lamar.
Yeah.
With COVID and with his ankle.
Yeah.
And then not being able to go and have a next man up and all those things. Give me a recap on your Ravens. And I mean, it's frustrating, right? Because you win the Super Bowl in 12, which I'm sure for you, and we'll talk about that briefly, but talk to me about the Ravens 2022. How close are they? They look close to me. There was a couple of things I want to get your opinion on. The Ravens, and then the two-point conversions that Harbaugh went for. Was that the right decision? They didn't pan out. They didn't work out. So what's your take?
They're the right decisions if they pan out. They're wrong if they don't.
Yeah, right.
The last game, I actually tweeted this. That's both of those games should have went in overtime, I thought. But the Ravens losing and, Pittsburgh winning, and the way it happened, it's like, oh, okay, this is why you went for two the first time, because you didn't want to go into overtime with Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Second time or whatnot either.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? How it happened. That's easily said, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, you're not around there, you're not in the locker room. I mean, me personally, I want more football. I want a chance to finish the game, play more football. Going for two at that point, I mean, you could say it was a great call, man, and they had it, but you didn't make it. You didn't make it, so I don't know, man. It's different when you're in the locker room with guys. As well as I do, Mort. When you're in there, a lot of ins and outs, a lot of things that are happening that you can say, okay, this is why something happened.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I know Baltimore has always been big on next man up. So there's no excuses when you lose people. You know what I'm saying? And as well as I know, you can't make excuses, but those things do count, man. You do take a step back when you lose guys like Lamar Jackson. That's your motor. You know what I'm saying? And Huntley actually stepped in and did a decent job, man. Guys got to help him out, obviously catching the ball and stuff like that. But, man, it was just tough, man. It was a tough year. A lot of injuries plagued. So it's going to be hard to get through that. Those guys got to get healthy.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens will be all right. You just got to clean up a lot of little mistakes, secondary-wise, defense and offense, man. It's like times when it's like kind of like a roller coaster. Kind of like Cincinnati. You don't know what you're going to get, sometimes. So you got to get some consistency there. And that comes with growth. I said that a couple of interviews back that they were young. They got some vets, but they also young. So that comes with time, man. It comes with going through some stuff. So hopefully those guys are mature after this year, man, because they went through a good bit. Hopefully they come through next year and battle back.
Yeah,
they got a lot of time to think about it.
it's hard to make up for youth because you have that youthful oblivion. You just have inexperience sometimes. What it takes is a locker room with an Ed Reed and Ray Lewis in there, because I know that locker room's tight. That locker room, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, when you talk about the injuries, the Saints had the same thing happen to them this year. 57 starters, different starters. In one game, 22 out, 22 starters out.
Yeah.
4 different quarterbacks. So very similar there.
Crazy.
But it's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I saw
that. But talk to me about Ray. Talk to me about you and Ray and that relationship and that locker room. And take me back to 2012. You guys were very close a couple of years earlier. Of course, you were drafted in 2002. And you had a lot of close calls, man, a lot of frustration. But then you get it done in 12 with Ray and that locker room. And what made it so special? What made it work in 12 when it didn't work the other years? Close calls, right?
Yeah, I mean, man.
Why 12?
We had more than Ray and I being leaders on the team. You know, Terrell, Suggs, Haloti Ngata, Anquan Bolden, you know, had Joe's ear. That's when you talk about things that you talk about in the locker room, how you lead in the locker room. You know, the conversations we used to have, those things resonated, man. You had Vontae Leach on offense. We had leaders across the board, you know, special teamers, everything, you know, so that mattered. It wasn't just Bray and I. It was a whole bunch of guys bought in and did the same thing every week. Like that true routine that you get into when the season started, we never fade away from that. We never went away from that. You know, we never veered off that path. And we knew that we had to take that championship from everybody. You know, I always tell this to people. I told it to the Ravens when I spoke to them. You can't win the championship. You got to take it. Everybody trying to win it. You know,
that's a great point, Ed.
It's going to come down to who wants to take it. I still have the text message in my phone. I put it in my phone in like December 2012 going into the playoffs. I'm like, we got to take this thing, you know, because I've been here before. Been here too many times to where we just gave it away, you know. So, yeah, it was time to take it. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what we did. That's what we did. I know in my heart of heart, you know, that we wasn't going to lose this championship. We was going regardless. Like, there's a lot of things that had to happen. The Denver game, you know, beating the Patriots. It was a lot of things that transpired. People thought we were going to have a mutiny and all that stuff during the season. It was all kind of crazy stuff, you know, that things were happening. But, yeah, man, you got to take it.
So with you and Ray, when I see you guys, and we're all Hall of Fame brothers now, so it's special for me to be able to fellowship with you guys a little bit when you allow me into that brotherhood, you know, that specialist that sits in the corner and just flies on the wall. I heard some crazy stories about you and Ray being up 2-3 in the morning watching film. I mean, grinding it to the point where you were so prepared because of the film study and you basically, you knew the reason you ball hogged. I mean, besides a deep desire to want to score and win the game, was really you were so well prepared that you kind of knew where the receiver was going to be and contingency plans. Talk to me about that whole. I mean, luck favors the exceptionally prepared, and you were real lucky because you were real prepared.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we was up watching film late, probably like 12, 1 o'clock sometimes, you know, like, man, go to sleep. But, you know, because we was on defense together, it helped, you know, linebacker, middle linebacker, safety, kind of like quarterbacks of the defense, you know, and being on the same page, man, on 2 levels, and then getting guys, you know, we go and meet with coaches, Ray and I and Suggs and Ngata. Like, we had a group of guys that we used to take with us, you know, that met with the coach and talked about plays and stuff like that as we got later in our careers, and coaches start to understand that we coach too, you know,
right.
and guys truly bought into it, man. So yeah, man, the film study obviously is a huge side of it that, I don't know if a lot of people take full advantage of that. I know these kids don't even know how to watch film, a lot of them in college, because that's what I do now, and like trying to get them to understand that. But yeah, man, watched a ton of film because the film it's not gonna lie, and it's guys gonna. I always say this: a fighter will revert back to what they always do when that fire is lit. You know what I'm saying? It's just no different than an offensive coordinator, a D coordinator. When that fight is lit, they gonna call their bread and butter. We used to, master in that. It's like, okay, things are going crazy. Go back to your bread and butter. So that's what we used to try to do. Get guys to go back to what they do, confuse them.
What was your bread and butter? Like as a defense, sometimes it was just a nod or a wink or a hand gesture. The way you guys communicated wasn't necessarily screaming and yelling at each other. There was a deeper understanding there, Ed, between you guys, fingers in a glove, if I may use that cliche analogy.
Yeah.
But what was the bread and butter for that Ravens defense?
Our bread and butter was a dual call. It was actually reduced 63 Sky. It's just our basic first training day call. That's the first thing you learn when you come to training camp. Reduce 63 Sky. So we used to go back to that, and you knew it. Guys knew that call like the back of their head. So it's like, just do your job. That's what the call was, really. It's like,
take me through the call as a player. Take me through what you would do as a free safety. Take me through what Ray, where he was as a linebacker. How did that flow?
Well, we'd come out just say if they was in the pro set.
It depends on what their formation is.
Receiver, tight end, two backs in the field, and the X receiver. Mm-hmm. We'll be in reduced. We'll be in a over front against that pro set, and we'll be in 6, which we can make it look like a 3. We'll be in that'll be like cover 4 to the pack to the tight end side, and it'll look like a down safety to the right, which make it look like 3. The safety got the option to be in a half safety or down, like in a cloud situation. He becomes the corner becomes the safety. If they motion over the slot, we'll check the front to an odd front, and we will go to cover 3. The safety would now stay down. The safety will rotate from the tight end side, and the corner would stay on the back side and goes to cover 3, for basic teaching. And Ray would never move. Ray was the linebacker. All he had to do is probably move 2-3 steps, just bump over right or left, with the front. And dual call.
A lot of trust.
Basic.
A lot of trust that everybody understands that and where it fits and how to rotate down. Yeah.
Bread and butter, baby. Go back to it. Everybody just run to the football, make a tackle. That's what that was for. It was just everybody knew what they were supposed to do. And like I said, that old Bill Belichick clip you would see, just do your job. That's what it was. Yes. Like everybody preaches that. It's not just Belichick. It's just who you going to listen to.
It's amazing how you can play freely when you know what the hell you're supposed to do.
That's a whole nother side to it. Between studying tape, knowing what to do, knowing when they're gonna snap the ball and stuff like that. Oh yeah, you can do a lot of things. And
the privilege to play the game at its highest level on Sunday afternoon comes all week, man, when you pay attention to the little details of the job.
Oh yeah. Because it don't change, man. Like there's not much that changes. There's only so many plays you can run. Everybody runs the same cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, cover 0. They just do it with different terminology. You got people out here thinking they doing something different. You're not doing anything that hasn't been done before, man. Everybody's done the same shit.
Ed, I got to talk to you about the U. That's it's amazing when I look at what you guys had going in 2001 down there. Let me just I did a little research. Okay. This is why you guys, one of the reasons you won the national championship on that roster, 38 future NFL draft picks, 43 combined trips to the Pro Bowl, 6 combined Super Bowl rings. Notable names like the late Sean Taylor, Andre Johnson, Frank Gore, Vincent Wilfork, Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Jeremy Shockey, Jonathan. I mean, you get the point. Antrell Roll, Brian McKinney. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. What is it about the U, and what was that like being on a team that was loaded with talent? I mean, it had to almost better prepare. It was almost like an NFL team down there, bro. Being surrounded by so many top-level players had to prepare you for the NFL differently than any other. Yeah,
that's what it came to, man. That's what it came to, man. It looked like somebody was telling me last night watching the games, like, man, Alabama was like how you guys was, you know, and shit, they just had it longer. I mean, they had a longer stint, man. They still going. What Nick Saban is doing over there is crazy, you know. And congratulations to Georgia beating them boys last night. When Nick Saban still gets credit, because Kirby Smart is his protege. Crazy.
That's a legacy. That's legacy right there, Ed.
That is truly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's beast, man. But you know, we had some great coaches, Mark. You know, we had a great coaching staff. We had some great recruiters, you know, when you look back at it, that brought guys in. You had Coach Pagano, you had Curtis Johnson, who's actually with the Saints. He's the receiver coach over there with the Saints. He's been there for a long time. He left like 2-3 years to go coach at Tulane and came right back. You know, he's the reason. He's the reason all those receivers do what they do over there. And he was a chess piece to the system that we had. You know, we had Don Solinger, Art Kehoe, Mario Cristobal was there for a spell. Chuck Pagano, like we had head coaches on the staff. Mark Stoops is the head coach in Kentucky. Greg Schiano, you know, Randy Shannon. Like we truly had head coaches, you know, and that's what makes me think about Alabama. Like they had head coaches on the staff. You know, Kirby Smart was on the staff. Mario Cristobal is now
Ole Miss head coach.
Lane Kiffin. Right? All those guys were on the staff. You know, now they don't always pan out when they leave there, you know, because you still got a coach. Now you got to do your X's and O's. No different than what's happening in New England. You know, guys leave there and they not having that same success, you know, because it's something about having everything together. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was truly hats off to the staff that we had and guys putting in work. You know, we had a lot of pavers that came before us, that came before the guys that we all really saw. The Edgerrin James, the Bubba Franks, the Reggie Waynes, the Santana Mosses of the world. You know, those guys wasn't on that national championship team, but they was there the year before and the year before that, you know, who really paved the way and those guys watched, you know, and then we just got younger. Like the leadership changed, the mentality changed. You know, and the coaching staffs and all that changed, and kids changed, you know, and things fell apart, you know. So that leadership matters. Like look what Baltimore has done since Ray and I, Anquan, Terrell, Suggs, and all those Haloti Nine, all us left. Like when we not left, but you know, when we were not in the building after that since 2013, I think they only won like 1 or 2 playoff games. Like Ravens haven't done much, and I just know we were big pieces to that. You know, no matter what nobody says, we were huge pieces to that. You know, as much as people wanted us to be gone. You know, and it's not. You know, it's not a. You know, Martin, like man, it takes the right guys in the locker room. You know, and the locker room is for the players. You know, the locker room is led by players.
Yes.
You know, coaches don't lead grown men. You know, coaches don't lead grown men. It's a partnership. You know, it's truly a partnership when you get to the league. you know.
Yes.
So
Here's my opinion on the
man.
locker room, Ed. You can correct me if you don't agree or add anything you want to it, but the culture, good or bad, permeates in a locker room until somebody with great leadership skills decides to change it for better or worse.
I agree.
It can go bad too. You got a cancer, you got somebody
Quickly.
in there, and I've seen it. I've seen that where one player who decides to sabotage everything, if there's not enough strong leadership in there,
Yeah.
that player can rake. I mean, he can really do some damage.
There was years when we didn't win because you had those type of individuals, you know.
Losing is a habit, just like winning is.
Truly. Yeah.
And so I choose winning.
Always.
You sleep better at night knowing that that's the route you're going.
Oh man. Oh
yeah.
Man. I going to work after a win.
Yeah, but you still hey, we'll see you on Wednesday. The greatest words ever.
Right.
See you Wednesday.
Victory Monday. Yeah.
Oh, Victory Monday was great. But you're still putting your stamp, am I right? Are you still chief of staff down in Miami?
Yeah, as of now, yep.
So was Diaz, was he let go too early in your opinion? You got a new head coach now.
Nah, I mean, it is what it is at this point, Mort. Coach had some things he needed to change. And those things did not change, and the higher ups, wanted to make a change, man.
Where's
and that's
the U heading. Where are we going with the U, man? How quick? 5-10 years to a national championship? You talked about Alabama and their dominance.
It takes Miami to definitely get there? It definitely takes a process. But I think we get the right coaches in there, the right leaders in there, and the right attitudes from the kids. We can be back in that thing. We could definitely be back in there. They gotta want that though. The kids truly gotta want that in the locker room. I haven't seen that attitude since I've been around there. I mean, I know kids want to win, but it's like we just said, there's cancers here. There's people saying this and doing certain things that you look at like that's not championship effort. That's not a championship mentality. So we haven't had that. I just don't see it, man. I haven't seen it. I've seen guys quit in games. And we changed that towards the end of the year. Guys were truly fighting. But we needed to change some things, and now we've made some moves. So, and see if we can get that thing back to truly dominance, man. That's what it's about. At least competing, in the playoffs, national championships.
I would think having you in there as a Hall of Famer would resonate with these young kids. And how involved are you, and what can you personally do to affect that change that you're talking about?
Well, as chief of staff, I'm not a coach. Technically, I'm not supposed to do stuff on the field. But I give pointers. I could give pointers and stuff.
A little
like
whisper,
that,
whisper, Ed. A little whisper in the ear, bro.
You know how we are, more. Without throwing myself under the bus, man. I do as much. I push the envelope as much as I can without getting the university in trouble, because we've had stuff. I never was about bringing anything bad towards the university.
No, of course not. No, of course not.
So, but yeah, man, I do as much as I can. I watch tape. I'm trying to teach these kids how to watch tape. I watch a lot of film, so I go to them individually and like, man, look, your kick step is not very good. You need to get lower as an O lineman, or, your hand placement as D lineman, or you getting off the ball, or, I heard you're not going to class, man. Like I got so much information that I give to these kids at different points, different times, because I know it's so much that they're going through. We have that experience through college and life that we can pour back into them.
Yes.
And that's one of the big things, like, I didn't see either, man. Like, being at the university, man, I didn't see those see coaches pouring back into those kids, you know, and it can't just be about football.
Right. Life skills, man. You got to have the whole package.
Yeah, I mean, it matters. Like, I know how much that mattered to us and our success, you know, what you're doing off the field kind of carries over, you know. If you're not handling your business off the field, it carries over, man. Like if you're irresponsible, you know, you're undisciplined off the field, it's going to show on the field.
I felt like Jimmy Johnson was a really good like life coach down at the U when he was there, you know?
Yeah, it was way before my time, Morten.
Yeah, I know, but I remember your reunion where you guys had him on the show and you guys talked to him, and he got emotional about it, you know, because he loves every player that ever played for the U, whether it was his players or somebody else's. When they were under the brand of the U, man, he was all in with it.
Right. And that made a difference, man. The players.
And I thought that was a real impressive display of loyalty to each other.
Yeah.
You know, and that's an unusual bond that you guys have together.
Yeah, man. Like coach did an awesome job back then. You know, and that's why I go back to that. Like, the coaching staff truly matters. Yeah. You know, Butch Davis was on that staff. You know, Butch Davis, who was our head coach, was under Coach Johnson. You know, even when he went to Dallas.
That's right.
Coach Davis came back to the University of Miami. You know, so they had that mentality. It's no different than you know, Belichick, Saban, Ozzie Newsome, and those guys. A lot of those guys were together in Cleveland.
Yes.
You know, back in the day. You know, and they all went out and did their own things. But it goes to show you, like, they all kind of kept that same mentality. You know, Belichick won championships. Saban's won championship, Ozzie's won championships, and is highly regarded as a Hall of Fame GM as well as a player, you know. So
yes,
that makes a difference, man. You know, having people in your staff like that, you know, who has that mentality, you know, it makes a difference, I think.
You mentioned some of these guys, and I want to finish that by just playing a little name game with you. But before I do that, who's the best defensive back in the game today and why?
The best defensive back in the game today, why? Today would be probably Diggs from Dallas, man, because of him getting those turnovers, getting those interceptions, getting that ball. You know, I take the ball from a secondary guy all day.
So not Ramsey.
I mean, Ramsey has talent. Ramsey is shutting people down. I don't get a lot of those games because I watch Red Zone a lot. You know, I don't watch every snap of every player, so it's hard to say who's the best when you're not truly watching them.
Yeah, I get it.
All the time. Like, I don't see every play from all these guys. You know, I know Ramsey is a gang of talent. You know what I'm saying? Gang of talent. So, I mean, but he got a lot of help over there, man. Like, he got a ton of help, you know, which helps you. It should help you, man.
Von Miller, got a
Donald, like that.
Oh, I know.
Like, they stacked. They're stacked. Like, they should be kicking ass and taking names worse than what they do, and they don't. So you gotta ask yourself,
they're stacked, and they gave up a 17-point lead to the Niners. Go figure.
Yeah, man, and then like you never saw Michael Jordan punch his teammate. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never saw LeBron swing on his teammates. You don't see that. So when you're talking about being a certain guy at a certain level, certain things, you carry yourself a certain way. You're different. You're totally different, man. So when you ask those questions, certain things pop in my head, and I remember I just remember like it was like a couple of weeks ago. Not saying that take away from who he is as a player. He's still a dominant player, but certain things you just don't do.
That's very telling.
You know?
Diggs kind of reminds you of yourself a little bit?
No, nobody reminds me of me.
I like that. I was hoping you would say that.
Yeah, nobody has truly been set apart Diggs is benefiting from a statistical generation. You know, they've changed these rules and they throwing the ball a lot more. You know, they throw the ball a ton more. The game has seemed to be a little longer. It's different. The game is stretched a little bit more. The rules are different, you know, and these quarterbacks, for lack of better words, they suck. Like you don't have those dominant, those quarterbacks that you had back in the day, man. I mean, it probably was the same. When you talk about talent level and you got a bunch of greats up here, you got a lot of mediocre. You got a lot of quarterback issues in the NFL right now. Like you don't have championship winning quarterbacks. You got a bunch of backups. You know,
you're making a valid point, Ed.
Yeah, man, you got a bunch of backups. So you got to look at the talent and skill levels like that you got going. You know, the great quarterbacks are being panned out now, right? You don't have the Peytons and I mean Brady's still there. Roethlisberger's on his slides. You see, like they're getting older. Like Roethlisberger looked terrible, you know, this year. You see Drew Brees retired. Like all these guys who were pretty good are gone, man. You got, you know, the Kirk Cousins, the Ryan Fitzpatricks of the world. You know, they trying to get these young kids to take over, and these young kids are not ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the league is a little watered down, a little different now, man, with the rules and these kids and mentalities and coaches with the books and all this shit. Football is football. Like there's something in between the lines that no book can help you with. You know what I'm saying? Like you can want to go for 2 and the book tells you to go for 2, but the heartbeat within the lines is too much for guys. So you'll get an incomplete pass. You'll get a pass knocked down. You see what I'm saying? Within a 2-point conversion, because that heartbeat that's within the lines is not on the sideline. That heartbeat is not on the sideline for a lot of people. You know, especially when you haven't been in the flow of that game in the lines before. If you've never been in between those lines, it's hard to relate. It's hard to relate. So you rely on statistics and books. You know what I'm saying? And those books don't matter when that heartbeat is doing something totally different between those lines. You know, so
I like that.
Yeah, man. It's like I watch this stuff and like, damn, like that's not the right call. Like, regardless of what you think that book says and what it tells you to do, that's not the right call, because that heartbeat within those lines is totally different. You know, totally different.
You're spraying some wisdom at me, brother.
Right on, bro.
I like it. It's old school, but it's new school. It's timeless. It's freaking Hall of Fame timeless.
Hall of Fame things we're doing right here. There's a reason why we're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. You got to think differently. You do, man, to set you apart. And it's got to be so ingrained in you that it becomes dominant.
Yeah. Yeah, truly.
Unconscious competence is earned, and you have to want it. You have to take it, to your point earlier.
Yeah.
You have to go take it.
Yeah.
Because nobody handing out that prize to you, man. You got to go take that.
Not at all, man.
That's the takeaway I'm getting from you, man, is hey, if you want it bad enough, go take it.
Truly, the right way. You know, don't cut no corners. You know, don't cut no corners.
Let me finish with a little name game for you. When I say these names, you just, whatever comes to mind. Doesn't have to be long, Ed.
All right.
And I go Ray Lewis. You say what?
One of the best ever.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
One of the best ever, and brother. Yeah.
Terrell Suggs.
Beast mode. That's my guy. Love Terrell.
Jonathan Ogden.
Ooh. I didn't see that smile, man. Gentle Giant. One of the best leaders I ever been around.
Yeah.
Because he do it by example. Love J.O., man. All I can see is that smile. Big old smile, man.
Steve McNair.
Oh, man, I was just talking about Mac 2 days ago, man. Legend. You know, wish we'd have won a championship when Mac was our quarterback. You know, we just had bad coaching.
Justin Tucker.
Automatic. Like Matt Stover. Automatic.
John Harbaugh.
Coach.
Yeah.
That's my coach, man. You know, we won a championship together.
Yeah.
Coach Harbaugh is like a distant brother, man. It's like you know, it was a lot of stuff he brought there. That we had to iron out. You know, so coach like a distant brother.
What did he bring that you had to iron out? Can you share anything in particular, or was it a number of things?
Yeah, I mean, literally, iron sharpening iron. That was something that, you know, he harped on spiritually, you know, in which a lot of us huge there spiritually, you know, so we knew where he was coming from, especially with the actions that was being that we were seeing, you know, and how things are transpiring. You know, as a head coach, I think as a head coach, you got to be a little of an asshole because you got to implement your stuff.
Yes.
You know, and you got to stick to it, but you got to be able to adjust.
Yes.
You know, so as men, because like I said, how I see the league, how I saw the league, especially as you get older in your career, you start to understand it. Like, it's truly a partnership with the players and the coaches. You know what I'm saying? My play is going to get you paid. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens over time. That's the reason why people have jobs to this day, because of how we performed in between the lines. You know, as much as those coaches might, you know, they do their thing, they study a lot, but they ain't playing no damn football. You know, so it's a partnership. We work together. I'm making sacrifices to make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do to help you, you know, do what you're supposed to do. It's a partnership. And I think, you know, those were the things that we had to kind of iron out with Coach, you know, especially me in general, because me and Coach spent a lot of time talking. Like, I was the one person not challenging him, but I would bring stuff back up. Like, why do you do this? Why are we saying this? You know, type of thing. Like, I'm a man before I'm a football player. You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that we truly had to iron out. Like, Coach, we men, man. This ain't no, like, this is real life. Football is a game. Life is not a game. We real men. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it get too crazy, man, like, people will lose their jobs over this shit. Like, you don't talk to people and do certain things, man. Like, we grown men, you know, so you had to iron out some stuff, man. You know, there was times when I didn't want to be in Baltimore, you know, when Coach first got there, you know what I'm saying? And
he rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I just had surgery, and I'm thinking about what I had went through my surgery to get back to the field. And I'm watching certain stuff. Like, you know, I've truly sat in the ice tub 3 days after surgery to help myself heal. I get out the ice tub, my body's shaking like an earthquake is in my body. Like, I couldn't stop shaking. And I'm thinking about those nights that I spent in Vail by myself in Colorado after I had surgery, giving myself treatment so I could get back. I had 2 hip surgeries, and I've come back to like certain things around the facility. I was like, nah, man, like, we grown men. You ain't about to treat us like kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't come in here. Don't come in here like you. Yeah, like dictate, like you dictating, you know what I'm saying? Like you Fidel around this man. Like, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing.
That's not what Stedman, that's not what Stedman told you. Yeah.
Yeah, man, we had to iron it out, you know, so that we could win a championship. And it's crazy because through all that we went through, Coach and I were the last two on the bus to leave the Superdome after the Super Bowl. Like, we went through all that for those years he was there, because we all left after. For the last day, the last game, he and I on the bus with his daughter, leaving the Super Bowl. And I looked over, he looked at me and was like, we did it. And I'm like, it worked. You know? Like, it worked, Coach. You know, so through all that we talked about, we came together, you know? And then they got rid of our ass.
I had such a good ending. And I had such a good ending. I was going to go with serendipity and butterflies and bells.
Nah, they got rid
but
of
then
us.
you came with they got rid of our ass.
They got rid of
spoiled it all.
They got rid of us, Mark. You know the business, man. They got they people think I left. People like they left and went to Houston and did man, they kind of left me no choice. You know?
Yeah. You get hired or you get fired.
Yeah, right. You know, like, my contract was up, I get it. They were like, you know, we won a Super Bowl with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember the phone call like it was yesterday. It's like 11 years ain't nothing with us. Like, basically, you spent 11 years here and go test the market. Like, go.
Well, $5 million guaranteed in Houston, that eased the pain a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I wanted to win ultimately. It was never about money, man. Like, you know that, Mark. Like, I thought we would have a good. No, I thought we had a good. No, five was good. I thought we had a good squad in Houston, man. Like, I kind of mapped out different teams, and looking at everything on paper, you like, okay, you got a squad here. Like, they did decent the year before, just needed some pieces. But as much as I know, and I asked these questions, there's certain stuff I didn't get before I signed with Houston, is, you know, it's just like how you operate. Like, how do you truly operate? And I was asking those questions, and, you know, people who I had around me was like, man, I don't really think you need those things. Like, you don't need it. And I'm like, you need it. You need it. You know, my brother was there, Andre Johnson. You know, and I thought we would at least compete. Man, we were terrible. I mean, terrible. There were terrible people in that organization. I hate to say it, it's the truth. Because I wanted to win in Texas. I wanted to win, at least compete. We were horrible, man. They had some horrible people in that organization, man. Like, when you live like that, like, truly, that's why you get certain organizations don't win. Because they got some bad leadership. They truly got bad leadership. They leading that old mentality, man. Like, no, that shit is done. Like, that old mentality is over, dude. Yeah. Like, that's not how you lead people. You don't do that. You don't lead like that. That's why some of these organizations truly suck. You know? Because they got that old mentality, man. You think about it, Mark. How many championships came from different organizations over time, right? Certain organizations that won, should I say, right? Think about that.
Belichick wins,
and he haven't been there. Think about the last 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
There haven't been a lot of teams that won championships.
No.
You can't lead with that old mentality, man. You can't do that. Can't have it. And that's what Houston had at the time. Houston had that old Southern mentality. All
right, let's get on with and talk about Sean Taylor briefly. When I say Sean Taylor,
man,
I know.
Hall of Famer in my book. I truly believe that. You know, I mean, you could look at how he was progressing, that he would have been a Hall of Famer. Very unfortunate on things that happen, man. But, you know, things happen for a reason. You got to learn from situations. I would hope kids would go back and do their research, you know, to things that's transpired, you know, through that situation. It was like, you know, who you surround yourself with, you know. But Sean, man, I remember when Sean got to Miami, you know, Sean's my guy. It's like, man, before I leave the University of Miami, I want you to know everything I asked to know about playing safety, you know, and Sean's already a super athlete. So I'm not trying to take credit for anything, but I wanted to make sure that I gave him everything that I knew about the game before I left the University of Miami, so that he would go on to do the things that he did. I'm glad I was able to pour into him, you know, just like the people who poured into me, the Eugene Ridgeleys of the world, the Dennis Scotts, you know, the people who came before me, and guys who were in Baltimore when I first got there. You know, like I had guys ahead of me that I looked up to. They might not have been as dominant as I was, but they knew the game. You know, so you take heed to those guys that are ahead of you. You're supposed to, man. You know, and you can discern what's right, what's wrong. Can you implement it to yours? You know, you should better do that as a person, especially if you're going with a, you know, open mind, humble heart. You know, so there were so many people who poured into me too. That's why I wanted to pour back into Sean, and I did. Yeah. You know, and watching him do his thing, man, was just amazing, man. Like the stuff he was doing. You know, I had already saw it in his highlight tape. I was seeing it at practice. I knew what he was capable of doing. You know, and I watched it, man. It was so much gratification coming out of just watching Sean make plays, man. You know.
You summed it up beautifully, man. That's a really nice tribute to a guy that left us way too soon, you know. That's beautiful, man.
Truly.
You know, one guy that poured into you, man, was Rex Ryan.
Rex, man, Rex. Oh my God.
Rex Ryan, man.
You know? Yeah, he's like the mad scientist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he had that 85 Bear mentality. Like he came up, Buddy Ryan, his dad, you know, like truly taught them some football. Yeah. And you could tell they were around it. Rex is my guy, man. I love Coach for what he taught us as a defense, what he taught me as a man, you know, and the opportunities he gave me later in my career, you know, because I left Houston and went to the Jets, you know, and helped Rex, you know, push to try to make to the playoffs. My last year playing was with Rex, you know, so it was cool, man. It was really cool playing for Coach and spending time with him. I used to go sit on the floor, you know, on Mondays, on those Victory Mondays, and watch them game plan. You know, Tuesdays too, I go in there and, you know, and see what they coming up with as I'm watching tape. And like, I don't think we should be running that. You know, I learned so much from Coach, from Rex, and you know, I mean, it's the defense I would run. Like as a coach, when people ask me for my philosophy of defense, you know, that's the defense I'm bringing. I'm bringing what we did. I'm bringing what the 85 Bears, how they won the championship, how the 2000 Ravens won it, you know, and how we won it in Baltimore, and how some other coaches stole what we did and won championships after we beat the Patriots, you know. So,
and you know how it is. Yeah, imitation is the greatest kind of flattery.
We all running the same stuff. Like I said earlier, you know, it's just who's going to execute better at the end of the day, you know. So I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to have played under Coach Rex, you know.
Hey, lastly, I got a question from Scott on Twitter, one of our listeners. He's asking, who was the one player in your NFL career who you hated trying to tackle? Was there anybody?
Who I hated trying to tackle?
Yeah. Guy you go, oh, man, no.
Marshawn Lynch would be the guy. Not that I
He
hated to tackle him.
was
Not
hard
that I
to
hated
tackle.
tackling him. It's just you knew what you were getting. You knew what you were getting. You know, I mean, as a teammate, I didn't want to. I told Jamal Lewis in training camp, like J. Lou, like we could do this, but I don't really want to. I don't want to have to hit you every day. So let's come to an agreement somewhere, bro. Like we don't need to be hurting each other out here. Because I know if you run the ball hard, like I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you hard. Like I'm gonna hit you to try to like slow you down, bro. So
yeah, that's not necessary on a Wednesday or Thursday.
Let's bro. Like no, don't do it, man. Like don't. Let's make it to the season. You know. Brandon Jacobs and T.J. Duckett. T.J. Duckett played for the Falcons. Oh my God, dude! Didn't want to tackle T.J. Duckett. I had to. Yeah, you see, it's like running back, right?
Yeah,
all running backs. All running backs, man. It was crazy. It's like I don't know who we was talking. I was talking to my brother last night watching the game. I don't mean to go off, but he's like one safety for this team got like 200-some tackles. A safety got like 200 tackles, right? And they talking about the safety's really good. I said 200 tackles is way too much for a safety. You know, a safety shouldn't have to have a whole bunch of tackles. Like if your safety
shouldn't come there, shouldn't go to the secondary. You know,
your safety got a bunch of tackles, dude. Your team sucks. Like your defense sucks. Real stuff. Like people like Ed didn't have a lot of tackles. I shouldn't have had to have a lot of tackles. If I had a lot of tackles, we suck. You know, and they had years when I had 80, 90 tackles. You know, that's me running to the ball too. But dude, your safety shouldn't have to have a lot of tackles. What kind of defense people be looking for? You know, we're secondary for a reason. We the last line of defense. We
INTs. Let's get some INTs.
We defend the pack.
INT, baby.
Credit to Rex. Morten. Rex Ryan coming to meeting. He had a whole defensive meeting, the whole defense in there. And he had asked the defense this question. Guys, what's going to make a bigger impact on the game? A big hit or an interception? And the whole defense would be like, oh, man, a big hit. I'm the only person like, Coach, an interception. What are you talking about? Yeah. Who gives a shit about a big hit when you can get the ball?
Change the possession, but yeah.
Yeah, you get the ball and you give it back to your teammate. You give it back to your offense or you score with it. Ain't no bigger hit. Ain't no hit bigger than that. I don't give a shit what they say about a hit. No, man, you change the game by getting the ball. What are you talking about?
Ball hog.
Right, but I was always against that one. Like, no, man. What are you talking about? Interception. Take it to the crib.
You took it to the crib from 107, 108 because you wanted to. You had a deep desire to change the game single-handedly, and you did it, bro.
Help the team win. That's what that's where the basketball came in, watching Michael Jordan, the track came in, you know, like helping your team win. Like, you know, the track was a team sport, but it's an individual sport as well. You know, but you're helping your team win. So I did long jump, triple jump, through the javelin. I even tried high jump. You know, so because I wanted to help the team win in any capacity. So if I get an interception, I'm going to the house. I'm trying to take it to the house.
I love it. Let me end by saying that you and the Edge by far have the greatest Hall of Fame busts. Hey man, I got that mid-career mullet, and I'm happy with my bust. But when I saw you, brah, when you took that thing off, and I saw that, and I saw Edge last year, come on now.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Mark.
And you're known for your hats and your locks, man, and the fedora. I was hoping you would have a fedora on today. That's all right. That's all right. You getting ready?
You caught me going to the gym, man.
Yeah, I know, man. I kept you too long.
I got my Hall of Fame hat on.
Though. Yeah, you do, baby. Yes, you do. Hey, man, my brother.
No
Hey,
doubt.
I've enjoyed it. I can't wait to see you and your bust in Canton, Ohio. Hopefully before then. Are you going to the Super Bowl? I'll be out there.
Yeah, I plan on it.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
We got some Hurricanes that's up for the Hall of Fame, man. So hopefully my brother Reggie gets in this year.
Yeah, maybe we can hook up in the Legends Lounge or something, one of those places, you know?
Sounds good.
And have a cold one and reminisce a little bit. I can get a good hug from you, man, and feel
Truly,
the love,
man.
you know?
Truly, brother.
Hey, Ed, I appreciate you, man. You're a good
problem.
man. You're a good human and a good man, and you were one hell of a ball player, brother. Let me tell you.
Thanks, Mark, man. I'm glad we got a chance to knock it out too, man.